Hey everybody, it's Matt from endsickness.org. Today I'm going to talk about how to avoid self-sabotage while healing. I'll first talk about my inner battle I went through when I was going through the healing journey. I'll talk about the healing concept that you must understand if you want to be able to get better. And I'll talk about the mast cell inflammation concept that you have to understand as well. I'll discuss counterproductive beliefs and behaviors and how they stop you from being able to move forward in your healing journey. I'll talk about how you must reframe your story surrounding the illness to be able to retain the progress that you've made and to be able to just get better in general. I'll talk about how you have to replace fear with faith, which is absolutely critical. And then I'll talk about how you must rewire your brain and change your preferences in life. And then I'll summarize at the end all these things for you. So first of all, my inner battle when I was healing. I didn't realize how much emotion was trapped inside of me that was there before I got sick, that led me to have certain behaviors, to do things in excess, to eat the wrong foods, to overvalue relationships, all these things that contributed to my illness. I realized it wasn't just a physical thing, it was something that had built up over a long period of time. So when I was going through this battle recovering, I would make some progress, and then I would end up being set back by different behaviors, choices, emotions, beliefs that would lead me to do things that would set back my health. For example, I'd make some progress, I'd feel a lot better, I could start eating normal foods again, and then I'd start eating whenever I want. I wouldn't just continue to eat the foods that got me there. I would start eating whatever I wanted because I was so deprived for so long that I couldn't deal with it emotionally. I couldn't deal being in social settings with people without being able to do what they wanted to do. I couldn't deal with not being normal, so I just gave in over and over to these desires to do things that ended up being a lot of the wrong choices. So a healing concept you have to understand is the more progress you make, the more desire you will have to set yourself back, okay? I've seen 1,000 times with clients, myself, over and over again, where as soon as people make a good amount of progress, they will have some sudden inclination to go do something that will end up setting themselves back. Like they'll want to get some new supplement to increase the speed of the recovery. They'll want to go exercise and they'll over-exercise. They'll want to start eating things they couldn't eat before, so they'll start doing that. They'll start making choices that they know that are not the right choices, but they feel that they now can make them and start to live the life that they had before they were sick. And unfortunately, you have to understand that that's not going to be how things are. You don't go back to how you were living before you were sick. You live a new life after you recover from the illness. That's the whole point of the illness, is to teach you how to treat yourself better and how to value yourself and love yourself and learn how to be well without the ups and downs, right? The mast cell and inflammation concept is absolutely critical. If you don't treat your chronic illness as a mast cell inflammation condition, you will end up buying products, eating foods, taking supplements, pharmaceuticals, etc. that will trigger your symptoms unexplainably. Mast cells are the origin of inflammation, and inflammation is what causes symptoms. So if, for example, you're still taking synthetic supplements, you're still taking pharmaceuticals, you're still eating gluten, you're still eating processed food, you're still taking multivitamins, all the things you shouldn't be doing if you have a chronic illness. You have to understand that everything you do has to calm the immune system down. Every supplement you take, every activity, you want to keep within moderation so you don't aggravate the immune system. You want to keep yourself calm at all times. You want to keep your emotions in line at all times. Mast cells are the driving force behind the inflammation, which is the driving force behind the symptoms. You have to understand that. So you want to treat these chronic illnesses like chronic inflammation or chronic inflammatory conditions. Counterproductive beliefs, okay? There's a lot of beliefs that you had about yourself in relation to your environment, about other people, about, various things that led you to become sick, okay? Obviously, there's some physical aspect. Like for me, for example, I was on antibiotics for 4+ years daily for my acne, major contributor to my health issues, but so was my diet, so was my trauma in my past with my family, so was my need to fit in, so was my, my feelings about how I fit into the world and my self-worth, etc. All those things contributed to my illness, whether I realized it or not. And these counterproductive beliefs have to be changed to be able to retain the progress you're making and actually get over the illness. Behaviors, counterproductive behaviors. You know, these are the things that you suddenly impulsively want to do because it feels like something that's pleasant to do, but it is not good for your health. You know, eating the wrong foods, staying up till 3 in the morning, going out partying, you know, doing all the things that maybe you did before you got sick that you couldn't do for so long that you start doing again, you know. So counterproductive behavior is another one, is engaging with people in, you know, disputes, debates, anger, you know, yelling, you know, all various stuff. I mean, there's all kind of behaviors that were tied into the illness before you got sick that you have to address to be able to get better. You have to reframe the story about this illness also. You have to be able to say to yourself, this is a blessing somehow. On the other side of this, I'll be the person I always wanted to be. You know, something to make this illness not bad luck. Something to explain as if this illness is happening for you, not to you, right? So this is critical. You can't look at this as bad luck or this as, you know, a prison sentence of being, you know, sick for the rest of your life. You have to believe that you're going to get over this, and you have to turn it into some positive story as to why this happened in the first place. You have to replace fear with faith also, okay? Don't get stuck in the fear of being sick the rest of your life, or the fear of wondering why these things are causing you these symptoms, or the fear that no one's going to be able to help you, you know? You have to start to have faith in a higher power, you know, in whatever thing that you call God. Until I got faith in a higher power, I don't feel I could actually find the direction to find the things to make me better, you know. I couldn't find the raw colostrum and the stuff that made me better until I really developed my faith and was truly in belief that my faith would lead me back to being well. So you have to replace fear with faith, otherwise you're not going to be able to escape the cycle of the fear, which creates the emotion, which creates the symptoms, you know, and creates the desire to engage in behaviors that create the symptoms, right? You must rewire your brain also in your preferences, okay? When I say rewire the brain, you have to start thinking about things differently, much differently than you did before you got sick. You cannot go back to being the same person after this illness. You're going to be a new person. You have to be. You have to rewire those thoughts. You have to retrain the limbic system. You got to do deep breathing. You have to do meditation. You have to do things to calm you down. You cannot keep on adding to the pool of adrenaline and the on-the-go attitude, the mind racing, etc. It's not going to allow you to get better. You have to change your preferences. You have to prefer things that are calming, not adrenaline-inducing things that put stress on the body. Because, you know, as good as it feels to have a little stress on the body, a little bit of adrenaline, that's a lot of the reason people are in these chronic illness situations, is they have this chronic adrenaline that they're searching for in everything that they're doing. And whether it's their diet, their relationships, their, you know, exercise habits, etc., right? And this adrenaline is what keeps them going. As soon as they run out of adrenaline, they crash, right? So you have to change your preference. You have to start to prefer things that are calming, that are rejuvenating, that are restoring, not things that amp you up, that get you going, right? So summarize the key points. I had a lot that I battled for a decade going through this healing process, but the number one thing was self-control. Once I made progress, I couldn't control my actions because I was, quote-unquote, deprived for so long from various things. I started to engage in them and consume them, etc., you know? Healing concept, you must understand. Once you get better, you will have a desire to do things that will set you backwards. Even if you think it's something that's going to help, a lot of the time, your innate desire is to do something that will put you back to where you were prior. So you have to understand this. You have to understand the mast cell concept. If you are doing things that aggravate the mast cells or cause additional inflammation, you will go backwards in your health, especially if it's a chronic health condition. You must change these counterproductive beliefs to remove them. Whether you got to go to counseling or you got to address them on your own, whether you know, no matter what you have to do, you have to change these beliefs that led you to do the things that got you to be sick. You have to change your behaviors, you know, the things that are contributing to your illness, you know, you know, your emotions, you know, the way that you feel about yourself. You have to really change these things. Otherwise, you're not going to have lasting recovery. You also have to retell yourself the story about this illness. You have to revise the story. It has to be a blessing somehow. It has to be something where it's beneficial for you to have gone through this. And you also have to connect with your higher power. You know, if you don't connect with your higher power and you just start, you'll live in fear. And the only thing that replaces fear quickly is faith. All right. As soon as I found my faith, my recovery was expedited dramatically. And you must rewire the brain and the limbic system. There's a lot of stress and adrenaline and trauma that goes on in these chronic illness conditions. If you don't attempt to do something to calm yourself down from the mind, not just calm yourself down by going and doing something that's relaxing, taking control of your mind and calming yourself within from the mind. If you don't do that, you're going to have these innate knee-jerk reactions to do things to set yourself back. And you have to change your preferences. You have to prefer calming activities, restorative activities. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I went through a lot in this healing journey. I was sick for 16, 17 years. Finally got better, thank God. So this is for educational purposes only. This is not meant to be medical advice whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. If you want more information, go to my website, endsickness.org. There's plenty of videos, articles, hundreds of studies on there, etc. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, everybody.